Hey there, welcome back to Tailwaters. I'm Chris Heineman. Winter has finally hit the Central Coast. Couldn't be more stoked, but also it's raining in the Owens Valley, and we're getting some snow up in the upper elevations as well. That's great news. Why do I say that? It's because the large trophy trout have been moving into the Owens River. Right now is the best time to go if you can get up there and you want to get into some of these trophy rainbows. It's going to be tough fishing. They're going to be hanging on the bottom. It's going to be cold. It's going to be windy. But I thought on this rainy day when I'm out taking a walk, there wouldn't be a better time to show you what I'm planning to throw in terms of flies, the spinners, the spoons, and some of the other artificials I've got planned. So let's take a look, all right, and get started. So those fish are going to be sitting down on the bottom. They're going to be in those deep runs, those deep pools, up against those cut banks, and they're going to be pretty lethargic this time of year, especially those big, large fish. So you got to think small. All right. So that blood midge, probably about 2022. That's where you probably want to be starting. And I've got some other midges here with these zebra midges here. I like these, and I like them because they got some weight on them too. With these bead heads, I can get that on the bottom. All right, not opposed to throwing. Let's see. Let's get this over here a little bit so you can see that. This Frenchie, again, you're going to get down on the bottom with that as well, and I really like to look at that. And what's on the bottom? Scuds are on the bottom. So take a look at that if you can see that. So I got a scud here. Might not be a bad option as well. And with the rain coming, well, the rain has come and gone actually. Fish think worms. All right, so I got some sandwan worms here that I'm pulling out. Let's pull those up here so you can see those a little bit better. Right, let me slide that midge over for you. Whoops. So we've got some sandwan worms and we've got some squirmy worms. All right. So I like throwing these during, the spring, summer, fall as trailers, but I think right now with that rain, maybe dislodge some of those worms. That might not be a bad option. It also might not be a bad option, whether it's a trailer, and getting that down on the bottom, maybe with a little bit of a split. Throw yourself an egg, and that's good protein. They may eat that. They may gobble that right up. What else do we got here I can pull out for you? The old bead head flashback. Yep, here we go. Here's one right here. You could see the green on that. You can see the flash on that. So that's going to get down on the bottom too. So I love throwing this beaded headed flashback up on the Owens. I mean, that's a fly you can throw all year round up there. So that's kind of a nice go-to. All right. So there's your beaded headed flashback. What else can I show you here? I'm not opposed to throwing something. You got your stonefly. It's big. Big baits, big fish, right? You got to be thinking that way. Maybe something that's got a little bit more that can get on the bottom, right? So you've got your stonefly here, but probably not the right time of the year for that. But again, it's a big presentation. You might get just kind of a strike, that fish going after it, just as a reaction. All right, I'm going to clear the board. All righty, let's clear this out so we can talk about some other flies here. All right, let's talk streamers. I think it's a great time of year to be throwing some streamers. And let me pull out some streamers I got here for you. Thing about throwing streamers, you're gonna have to change up your leader. I'm throwing a 5X leader on my 5-weight rod, so I'm probably gonna have to get a little bit beefier leader on that, maybe a 1X, 2X, 3X, and get these down. So you can see here these different colors. Imitate bait fish, imitate bugs, leeches. This right here, there's your old marabou jig, right? But I like those colors probably the best. A fun lure that I've actually caught some fish up on the Owens with is this one. And you can see here, it's got this little propeller on it. And this propeller, as it's going through the water, it's gonna shimmer, it's gonna shine, it's gonna reflect light, and it's gonna attract trout. All right. All right, so we've talked midges, we've talked some nymphs, we've talked some stoners, we've talked worms, we've talked eggs. They're the streamers. Let's get those out of here. Now let's talk Alaska flies. And you're probably going to think I'm crazy, but I'm just going to pull these back up so you can see these here. This is called a humpy hooker. And we fish these a lot up in Alaska for cohos and for pink salmon that are running from the saltwater and running up creek systems. So we fish these on Bear Creek. We fish these on Cowie Creek. I forget the other one that we fished them on recently, but these are great. These just get absolutely blown up. The reason why I like it, and I'm thinking about trying it, I love the color. Pink's a hot color right now this time of year. For some reason, those trout, especially those trophies, they like that pink color. And with these eyes and this bigger hook, I've got a bigger presentation for bigger fish. But again, I'm going to get down on the bottom, all right? Now, something like this, look at this thing. This is awesome. Let me see if I can pull this out. I mean, you can really get an idea of how big that fly is. Now, that might attract a really big fish. And then I've got some others. Here, I'm going to slide this up so you can see these. Brownies, they may go after those. You know, if there's some browns sitting in there, if I'm down on the lower, for example, the lower Owens, I might have some brownies that go after that. Now, this is a total crapshoot. Now, I'm just kind of guessing that these might be good presentations. I'm just trying to get into the mind of the fish itself. But, these are flies that I throw in Alaska. I'll throw these in the surf too, right here. So I had a friend of mine that I met on social media. He actually tied these for me. So, and these are for barred surf perch. These little kind of shrimp looking things as well. So, but what the heck, let's give them a shot. I love the color. I love the presentation, and I love being able to get down deeper into the river where those fish are holding. So we'll give those a shot as well. All right, next up, let's talk spoons. We've said pink is the color. So I've got a couple daredevils here that I'm going to throw. I picked this, I forget where I got this lure from, but you can see here I've modified this lure already. I took the treble off of it and I put that inline single hook on it. I think I got turned on to this bait from Micah from Until Journey's End. And if you haven't seen his channel, give it a watch. He does some really cool stuff. Really nice guy. He makes some really nice videos, especially I love the underwater footage that he does. Let me get this lined up a little bit better for you. A little Thomas Buoyant for you there. Looks like it's imitating a brown trout. I'm probably going to pick up some more Thomas Buoyants when I get up into Bishop, either at Max or if I'm up further up in Mammoth at Rick's. And then of course, we talked about I showed you the black streamer. Imitates a bait fish, bug, leech. There's your old go-to, the old marabou jig. That's a killer. All right, that's a killer. But it may not be the time of year for that. But you never know. This is something that I found when I was at Hook, Line, and Sinker here in Santa Barbara. And I'm kind of curious to try it, and I wanted to show it to you. Take a look at this. This is one of those Max lures. So you've got a UV spinner on here. They call this wedding ring on here. I like this for a few reasons. I love the color. Again, it's in that kind of pink hue. Got a bunch of eggs here, and it's got some flash to it, and then it's got this single hook. So I'll pinch that barb down. Again, everything on the upper Owens River, and I just fish barbless anyway. Check your regulations, but I always pinch those barbs. But you've got to go barbless, artificial on the Owens. But it does come with the leader, which I think is interesting. I've never fished this before, but that's about a 4-foot leader I think it comes with by default. So that should be interesting. All right, wanted to show that to you. What else do I got to show you? Everybody knows this lure, the old Panther Martin. I think if I had one trout lure in my box to fish anywhere, any stream, any river system, any alpine lake, it's going to be your Panther Martin. I absolutely just love that lure. It's a fantastic lure. I like the gold personally. I like the way it reflects the light. And for some reason, it's just been a killer for me. I really love it. This is an interesting lure. I forget where I got this lure from, but I like the presentation on it. We got a couple salmon eggs, some wedding rings, and we've got that nice flash with that spoon, or actually with that spinner, with that blade on there in that pink color. What else can I show you here? I've got some other Panther Martins, but I'm not going to throw these. You can see this one, a little bit more of a kind of a rainbow trout color, but I haven't had as much luck as I've had just throwing the straight black. And I found this, look at this. This is kind of a knockoff of the Panther Martin. Now, Panther Martin didn't make this lure. I don't know who made this lure, but I found it at Max in Bishop. But it's a knockoff of a Panther Martin. You can see that. And look at the size of the hook on that thing. So you've got, compare that to that size. Oh, come on. And you get an idea of the different hook size on that. And unfortunately, I can't take the hooks off of these, but you can buy, and I've started to do that. You can buy, well, here's one right here. You can buy Panther Martins in just kind of a straight shank hook, you know. I love that. Again, I'm not a fan of treble hooks. So for me, this gives the fish a little bit more, it's more of a, fighting chance, and you gotta, you can't horse them, you can't jerk them in. A little bit more finesse fishing and pinching that barb down, much easier on the fish. So I love that. All right, I think that's going to do it, folks. So we're going to wrap this video up. I hope you found this helpful, just kind of getting into my mind's eye on what I'm thinking about throwing when I head up to the Upper Owens, in the next couple of days, and some of the flies that I'm going to throw. So we'll report back to you, and until then, tight lines, and be safe out there. Treat each other well. Bye-bye.